The advent of analytics has certainly permeated the game today more so than in the past. I think, there have been, I think, general ideas about some of the things that we're able to measure today. I kind of laugh at the idea that spin rate is something new, right? People are talking about it, we can measure, now it's quantified, I can give you a number for it, but 35 years ago, a scout would go to a game and say, this guy's got life through the zone, or his fastball plays up, right? It's 88, but guys swing at it like it's 95. We've quantified that. Now we know how to measure it, so a scout, someone in the front office, a pitcher has the ability to say, I know why my 88 gets more swings and misses than your 95. And I think the next step, which we're probably on the horizon of, is to determine why that's important, right? It's great for someone to say, well, so-and-so has an elite spin rate, right? I think the next connection to make is, what do we do with that information? How does that dictate usage? Pitch choice, does that make someone more prone to being able to throw a curveball or a slider? You think about, there's probably a little bit of a disconnect right now in that I think maybe the analytics departments, some of the kind of new, younger, progressive thinkers are maybe a step ahead of where players are, but I do think eventually there will be a marriage between the two. And like I said, I think the next step is for someone to say, hey, so-and-so, despite the fact that you only throw 90 miles per hour, you have an elite spin rate. You get true backspin on the ball. It will play up. You should think about throwing your four-seam fastball up in the zone. It gives pitchers a chance to recognize their strengths that aren't always so obvious. I was actually able to throw a couple of bullpens, kind of see what I was doing in season compared to where I was going into spring training. Wanted to see if maybe I'd kind of become derailed a little bit, deviated from some of the keys that had made me so successful in the winter and through spring training in the first part of the season, and actually came to realize that the sinker was sinking more, the slider was sliding more, velocity was up a little bit, so it kind of came down to execution. And oftentimes the simplest solution is the right one. I was still getting great movement. I still had that deception. I was leaving balls up in the zone and they were getting hit. But it was really important for me to see that, right? I mean, I'm not sure that had someone told me day one of my struggles, hey, you're just getting the ball up, I wouldn't have said, well, maybe that's it, but at the same time, I've got a new delivery, I've got a new pitch repertoire, I'm not sure that I'm using it correctly, maybe my arm slots come up. There were a whole host of possibilities, but until I was able to kind of go through and check off and eliminate some of them, I wasn't able to convince myself that it was simply a matter of execution, and rapsodo became a really critical tool for that.